What's up, boys? This is Ginge. I'm doing a Shaman guide for Elemental. For some of those boys in the guild that need help with Elemental, want to figure out what to do for Mythic Plus or Raid, what talents to use, what stats to use, when to press Lava Burst, when not to press Lava Burst. Yeah, so let's hop right into it. So starting out, let's talk Mythic Plus. Talents, first off. Echoing Shock, I like the bonus single target if I need it. Uh, Aftershock works really well with the Echoes of Sundering Legendary, which should be your go-to always in Mythic Plus. Gives you a chance when you Earthshock to just instantly give you full Maelstrom, and you can Earthquake right after, which does 120% more damage. I run Spirit Wolf. There's not really a whole lot of choice here. Master the Elements. It's really good if you can Lava Burst before you do a big empowered Earthquake, and it does even more. Storm Elemental is good in organized groups. It can put out a lot of damage, but it has a pretty big cooldown. Nature's Guidance, pretty good for self-healing. Ancestral Guidance, good if you need some bonus group healing. Primal Elementalist, you're not going to run anything else in Mythic Plus. Stormkeeper, not going to run anything else. Stat-wise, gear-wise, Echoes of Great Sundering, you're going to be running this legendary. If you have a badge, the badge is pretty solid in Mythic Plus because crit is your main stat. So most LE Shamans in Mythic Plus run around 28 to 30 crit, 15% haste because you want your Chain Lightnings to be a 1.7 cast. Mastery, I would have 0 if I could. Verse, I would have maybe a little bit more if I could get mastery, so maybe like 12 to 15 would be great. So that's about the stats that I would go for Mythic Plus. And conduits, let's see. Conduits, you're going to go Bonesmith Hymir. This is single target, AoE, whatever you want to do. This is pretty much what you rock. Call of Flame, that Earth LE length. Thunderous Pause, you could take what you want here. Healing Surge, more effective. I like that. Vital Ascension, it's good because you can have stronger Fleshcraft shields. And then after landing 10 crits, you gain 18% crit for 10 seconds once per minute. It's pretty good single target, pretty good AoE. You're not going to be running anything else unless you do PvP, in which case you'll run Plague Divisor. So pretty much anything above 2 targets, 2 or more, you're going to be doing your AoE rotation, which is the, Chain Lightning into Earthshock, into Earthquake, and just spamming Chain Lightnings. So on 2 targets, you keep up Flame Shock, and you Lava Burst. You can cast Lava Burst in between Chain Lightning casts and Earthquake casts. But on 3 targets, you no longer hard cast Lava Burst. You never want to hard cast Lava Burst. You just keep doing your AoE rotation and you use procs. So the only time you cast Lava Burst is with those Lava Surge procs. And you just want to maintain your Lava or your Flame Shocks. Use your Empowered Earthquakes. And yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. So just a reminder, yeah, 2 targets, you can hard cast Lava Burst. 3 targets, stop hard casting Lava Burst. And if you have more than 3 targets, you stop Flame Shocking stuff, stop Lava Bursting stuff. You are only Chain Lightning, Earthquake, Earthshock. That's pretty much all you do in AoE. One of the most important things for output in Mythic Plus is lining up that empowered Earthquake for the next pack. So if you're almost out of Maelstrom before the next pack, you want to make sure you get that Earthquake off and you're prepared for this next pack to pull. So if this pack's about to die, I'm Earthshocking so that I have the proc on my legendary, and then I want to get a little bit of Maelstrom, and then when we're about to pull the next pack, I want to pop everything, get a big Stormkeeper off, empowered Earthquake, and then I'm going to start hard casting Stormkeeper. And don't forget to press your Meteor button if on the empowered Elemental, or if you have the Storm button. But that's a pretty good AoE tool as well. You saw 6k AoE. I mean, it's uncapped or 8 targets. It's a pretty big damage on that. I'll go over what to do with Storm Elemental as well, real quick. So this is if you have a more organized group. Let's have another macro set up. I have a macro. I'll go over it after, but it's just Storm Elemental combined with my Trinket and Blood Fury. So Storm Elemental, some general things to note. It's best on like 3 to 5 targets. That's when it's like prime. It does the most damage. So Mythic Plus, sometimes that's good. It's also good on like mass amounts of AoE if you have to just get off a lot of earthquakes and the ads are living for a really long time. So that's like really high keys or just huge pulls. It's also good. So general setup for the Storm Elemental is you're going to drop it, and now he has this ability, Call Lightning. So when he casts Call Lightning, he auto-casts it. You're going to click Eye of the Storm, because what Call Lightning does is it charges himself, and he does 300% more damage. And then the Eye of the Storm does a bunch of AoE. You can see he was doing 3k or something, single target by himself. So it's really important to let this Call Lightning go off first. And the whole time while your Storm Elemental's up, you're just spamming Chain Lightning. Pretty much just non-stop spamming Chain Lightning. And you're still going to get your Earth Shock Earthquakes off whenever you can fit them in between. So Earth Shock, and keep spamming, because the more times you cast Chain Lightning, the faster it gets. And then once he's gone, you just continue with your regular rotation. But the most important thing with the Storm Elemental, to not waste it, is make sure he casts that Storm Empowered thing, and then you click the button to make it do its AoE. If you do it early, you lose out 300% damage, so that's not a good time. So moving on to single target, our stats change a little bit. Depending on what talents you run, but most of the time I run haste verse as a main prio. Right now I have 24 haste, 20 verse. So the 24 haste is mostly so I have 1.6 second lava burst casts, just because that's your main source of damage. We use the Cloak of the Wind Speaker, which every time you Earth Shock, you gain Lava Surge, which is the lava burst proc, and increase the damage by 20%. So first I'll go over the Ice Fury build. So the Ice Fury build, it sims higher damage, but it's much harder to play. It's good for fights where you have movement, and it also increases the value of crit slightly. So in general, when playing Ellie Shaman, you're trying to weave your spells together because of the Master of Elements talent. So you're trying to you're trying to Lava Burst before you Earth Shock, Lava Burst, Elemental Blast, Lava Burst, Ice Fury, Lava Burst, Stormkeeper. You're trying to Lava Burst weave in between all your spells, and that increases your damage by a significant amount. So for the general opener for single target, let's do like a little pull timer. So pull 10, I'd probably get my Fleshcraft going, which I could pop Earth Ellie to get a bigger shield.
4,
Pop Stormkeeper,
2,
precast
1.
Lava Burst, drop it. And now I'm going to try to weave all my abilities in. I'm going to pop my big spells and just start weaving. And once I start running out of juice, I'm going to pop Ice Fury. So right now I'm sort of out of juice. I'm going to Ice Fury. And now I'm going to start weaving my Lava Burst again with the Ice Fury proc. So Lava Burst, Ice Fury. Lava Burst, Earth Shock, Lava Burst, another Ice Fury. And then if I can't get my last couple of Ice Fury procs off, I just want to use them up quickly. So the reason I run Primal Elementalist over Ice Fury is because Ice Fury, even though it sims higher, it's probably like 10 times harder to use. It's good for fights where you're like moving around a lot, but when it comes to like actually doing damage while doing mechanics on progression, like Primal Elementalist is just sort of a click it and forget it button, which I'm a fan of. It does like really similar damage, and yeah, that's probably what I'd recommend to run, and it saves you a little bit on the rotation. It can get a little bit hectic trying to weave those Ice Furies in as well as the Stormkeepers. So yeah, I'd recommend just running the Primal Elementals for single target, especially if you're newer at Shaman, and then you just prioritize the haste verse